I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
What makes a man change? Each of us are on our own individual path, but the beauty and complexity of life is that we don't know where this path we're on is going to lead us. We have aspirations, expectations, plans, but we are also prisoners to circumstance. You may have it in you to become so many different types of people, but as each of life's many tests are thrown at you with every decision that's made, the options slowly narrow down to make you the precise version of yourself that exists today. Did these experiences make you who you are, or simply reveal who you were all along? Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather is hailed as one of the greatest movies of all time. At 3 hours long, the film is more of a rich tapestry that unfolds over many years than it is a simple crime caper. It's a story about family, loyalty, business, life, and death, and how they all intertwine. It places us behind the closed doors of the Corleone family business, a business that the youngest son, Michael Corleone, wants nothing to do with. So how does Michael go from this
That's my family, Kate. It's not me.
to this?
But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever.
How can a man end up in a role that no one else wished for him, that he didn't even wish for himself? Let's examine the stages of transformation for Michael Corleone throughout The Godfather, Part 1. In this world, people don't have choices. They merely have the illusion of choice, as these decisions aren't made in a vacuum. There is always coercion involved.
Now, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Corleone family tree looks like this. Vito Corleone resides at the top, father to 4 children, adopted father to Tom Hagen, and godfather to Johnny Fontaine. One of these children will have to take over the family business. The eldest, Sonny, is first in line, Fredo, second in line, and Michael, third in line. But Vito had other plans for Michael. Michael is a former Marine. He's not involved in the family business, having chosen his own separate path. For a family as close as the Corleones, Michael's distance makes him something of an outsider. When we meet him in Stage 1, he has 5 key qualities. He's an outsider, a war hero, intelligent, honest, and loyal to his girlfriend Kay. His father envisioned Michael becoming a senator, for the family to one day have real links to real, clean power. That was always Vito's aspiration. But life had other plans. The Corleone business was centered mostly around olive oil, but in the 1940s, organized crime was about to dip its toe into the drug business. Vito, clasping to his vision for the future, rejects the idea of getting involved in narcotics, as they destroy lives, and it would make the business dirtier and turn society and the law against them. For Vito, there is no price he could conceivably pay to get involved with drugs. But for others, the money is simply too tempting, and when Sonny shows some interest in it during a meeting, a hit is put out on Vito, as once he is cleared out of the way, there is no one to object to the expanding market of narcotics. Everything in The Godfather is always viewed as simply business.
This is business, not personal.
They shot my father.
Even the shooting of your father was business, not personal, Sonny.
As much as Michael likes to see himself as an outsider, the moment he hears about his father's shooting, he rushes back to his family, who have felt his distance.
Michael, where you been?
As much as he sees himself as his own man, perhaps thinking he's above it all, his father has always shared a different attitude.
Because a man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
His girlfriend Kay was a big priority to him in college, but now Michael's focus has shifted. He can't even see a future with her anymore.
When will I see you again, Michael?
I don't know.
As his vision for the future was dependent on his family's maintenance. He realizes he was somewhat ignorant to expect that to always be secured, but in one swift action, everything changes. This catalyzes Stage 2. Michael is now an insider, a war hero, intelligent, honest, and loyal to his family. As a former Marine, Michael understands the language and strategies of war more than his brothers. He arrives at the hospital and discovers his father's guards are absent, meaning there is only a matter of minutes before a rival family comes to finish the job. Being right in the middle of the threat emotionally attaches Michael to his role in the family more and more, as he realizes that without him, his family is at real risk of losing its power. He had always taken the family business for granted, but once it's a matter of life or death for his loved ones, his training kicks in, and he begins to realize that there is a role for him here. After spooking away the potential killers, the police arrive, and the corrupt cop McCluskey punches Michael for intervening. This teaches Michael that corruption can exist within any power structure, that if the cops can wrongly leverage the law against their family, then what good was the law? This one evening visibly changes Michael. Whatever he had envisioned for his future was perhaps built on false assumptions. This triggers Michael into stage 3. He's now an insider, but no longer a war hero, now becoming an active soldier. He remains intelligent, but his honesty is now replaced with moral ambiguity, but he remains loyal to his family. As an outsider coming in, Michael sees the way the game is played very differently to those that are on the field. For his brothers Sonny or Tom, they view these decisions as just business.
You're taking this very personal. Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
But what is more personal than business when it's a family business? Michael offers to make a sacrifice for his family that only he can make. He will take out the man who organized his father's shooting and the crooked cop that tried to finish the job. And then he'll simply disappear. In his mind, as an outsider, he can slip out of the family and the business can continue without him, whereas his brothers have families or loyalties to the business, so they're not so easily removed. Looking at the family tree, Sonny is first in line, but he's a bit of a hothead. He makes decisions based on impulse, rarely considering the long game. Fredo is just a party boy. He's in it for the women and the good times. He's not a trained killer, whereas Michael is a Marine and far more calculated than his brothers. So he's the best person to send in for this job. This moment changes Michael's life and his family's trajectory in a way he could never imagine. And rarely can we see a man think through the potential consequences of his actions more than in his final seconds before the shooting. Michael's many potential paths not yet taken shut down due to this decision. His actions trigger a mob war, so he lays low in Sicily, finding a new wife and getting in touch with his family's roots. For a man who always viewed himself as something of a prodigal son, he is now deeply ingrained in his true identity. This new life Michael has made for himself becomes a warm and welcome reality. His life has a renewed sense of meaning after he expresses his loyalty to his family through sacrifice. Whereas he used to make decisions that would keep as many roads open as possible for him as an individual outside the family, shutting out those possibilities allows for him to focus his concentration on what he has left. Back in New York, Sonny is in charge of the family business while Vito heals, and it's stressful. Everyone is on edge as Sonny is too easily manipulated by his emotions. And this weakness proves fatal after Sonny rushes to defend his sister from her abusive husband and gets murdered. The family now lacks leadership. And as much as Michael enjoys his alternative life in Sicily, you cannot hide from your past. It follows you everywhere you go. And just after discovering his brother has been killed, his wife Apollonia is wiped out in a car bomb. That bomb symbolically destroying the last alternative road for Michael to take in life. His fate is now sealed. His family needs him, and he finds true meaning in his loyalty to them. This catalyzes stage 4. He's promoted from insider to leader of the family business. He's not a soldier on the field, but a general. But he remains morally ambiguous, intelligent, and loyal to his family. Vito calls for a truce in the mob war. He was once convinced that there was no price he would ever pay to let this change take place, but the pain of losing his own son was too much for him to bear, so he allows narcotics to become a part of the business, showing that his loyalty lies with his family's safety. Vito is too resistant to change, and that stubbornness nearly cost him his own life, and did cause the loss of his son. In a world where everything is just business, not personal, Vito had expected his personal values to prevent the business from growing. When Michael returns, he knows who he is and what he wants. He meets up with Kay again, who is surprised by the changes she sees in him.
I thought you weren't going to become a man like your father.
Michael still loves the version of him that exists in Kay's mind. She's unaware of what he has done or who he has lost. There's a purity to Kay's perception of Michael. She symbolizes those other roads not taken, who he could have been. So he hides his sins from her, but still wants her in his inner circle, as that's the only group he can remain loyal to. Vito compares this harsh reality to what he had envisioned with Michael, giving him some life-saving advice about how to spot the traitor in the family. And he then passes away, making Michael the head of the family, as well as the easiest target in the city. Now the 5 families can simply eliminate him and become 4 families. But just as Vito would eventually cave on his own values to protect his family when it came to drugs, Michael too would have to sacrifice in order to protect those that he is now responsible for. He is no longer the kid brother at the wedding, benefiting from the world his father had built for him. Now he is the safeguard for the entire family. Vito's dream for the future dies with him, and now Michael is left in charge. So as he attends his nephew's baptism, he organizes the murder of the heads of all the other crime families in the city. There's no mercy, as he has seen what these families were willing to take from him in order to preserve their business. So if that's the case, he has learned that having personal values is a weakness, not a strength. He eliminates every threat in his family's way, including his sister Connie's husband Carlo for betraying Sonny. Connie is devastated, but there can be no weak links in the family anymore, not after what he just pulled. This solidifies stage 5 in Michael's transformation. The leader of the family, a war general, dishonest, ruthless, and loyal only to his family. Kay is shocked by the accusation that Michael had Carlo killed and asks him if it's true.
Is it true?
He looks her right in the eye, the same eye that views him as the same man she met before all of this began in stage 1.
No.
And he lies to her. She's initially relieved, reminded of the man she first met, but when she walks outside and looks back, it dawns on her that he isn't just Michael anymore. He is now Don Corleone. And as that door closes, the final version of Michael Corleone, the version that existed only in Kay's eyes, dies. And the audience is left to question, did he choose this life? Or did life simply make him an offer he couldn't refuse? Well, you've made it this far, so you might as well like, comment, and subscribe to help get this channel to the next level.